Denise Taylor, the 50 Plus Coach, and I want to talk about retirement. And you know, the old style view of retirement is, you know, you'd work up until 60 or 65 and then you'd have a party and you'd get your gold watch or your clock or something, and you'd wake up on Monday and you were retired and you'd lost your identity, and you possibly got under the feet if your wife was at home and you know she wasn't used to having you about, and you wondered what on earth you were going to do. And you know, in the old days, a few years later, you'd probably be dead. You know, that's the way it was for many, particularly if people had a hard physical job. But it's different now. Most of us are still going to be fit and healthy into our 80s. And do we really want to retire at age 60? Never mind, can we afford to, with all the changes happening with investments and pension? So what I wanted to talk about today was the phase of pre-tirement. And it may be that, you know, your job's been okay, but it's never been something that really hit all the buttons and you really loved to do. It wasn't something you felt passionate about. And it may be that something to think about is when your work pension will kick in, that you decide, this is great, but I don't actually want to retire now. And you can go and do something that you want to do. And it could be to go and get another full-time job. It could be that you want to work, but you want to work shorter hours. It could be that you want to do something similar, but less stress. Or it could be you're one of the fortunate people, you've got plenty of money coming in, but you want to actually do something that you'd love. And it's much more about volunteering. So this phase, pre-tirement, and I've got quite an extensive article on my blog all about it, is a phase where you stop doing your previous full-time work and you move into something different. Indeed, you could stay in the work that you have been doing, but do it more on your terms, and maybe, you know, opt for flexible working, so you're working 3 days a week rather than the full 5 days a week. And this pre-tirement phase, I think I'm going to be in it until, you know, the end of my days, because it can gradually change. And I think, you know, for somebody it could be they stop what they're doing and they take on another job, but they only do a 4-day week or a 9-day fortnight, and then a few years on they maybe decide to do 3 days a week, and then maybe they reach 66 and their state pension comes in and they're now doing 2 days a week, but now they're going to start volunteering as well and doing something like that for a couple of days a week. So it can be what you make it. But I just wanted you to get thinking about what sort of retirement do you want to have? Because otherwise it just creeps up on you. And sometimes when I run pre-retirement seminars and I talk to the people on the course, they just see it as a time where they're not going to do anything. They're just going to sort of laze around the house. And I say, that will be fine. And that will be fine for a few months. But won't you get bored? No, they say they won't get bored. But I know 6 months down the line, they will be bored and they will want to start thinking about something else. And it's far better to start thinking about it now so that you can talk to people, start making some plans and trying it out, rather than wait till a point where you're actually putting on daytime TV and not really getting dressed. And that's, you know, not a great place to be. And I've spoken with somebody, I've worked with somebody, and you know, he had a high power job in the city and he ended up in that sort of lifestyle, and it never occurred to him that that would be, but he'd never given retirement any thought. So pre-retirement training within organisations often happens just a few months before they leave. Actually, I think it's something that we should be thinking about several years before we leave. And you know, if you're watching this and you're still in your 40s, there's nothing wrong with starting to think now, especially if you're going to want to make some radical change, like I've spoken about in a different video that I plan to do. So start thinking about retirement, realise it's not a clean break. You can have this period of flexibility called pre-tirement, and that may certainly be something to think about. But rather than just drift into something, think about what you'd really like to do, because if you don't do it now, when will you? So it's Denise Taylor, the 50 Plus Coach, and until next time, bye-bye.